A motorcade is moving through downtown Dallas, 40 miles per hour, and you just spotted something no one else did. A window. Third floor. Curtain pulled back. 2 inches. That 2-inch gap is the difference between a routine movement and a national catastrophe, and you have about 4 seconds to make the call. Your earpiece crackles. Your hand moves to your weapon. Your eyes never leave that window. This is your life as every Secret Service tactical rank. This video is a dramatization for entertainment and educational purposes. The details presented are based on publicly available information, and specific operational procedures remain protected for obvious national security reasons. The United States Secret Service is known worldwide for one mission above all others: protecting the president. But behind the agents in dark suits and sunglasses exists a tactical apparatus most people never see. Specialized operators, counter-assault teams, rooftop snipers, and shift commanders who spend every working hour preparing for the worst seconds of their lives. Today, we're walking through every tactical rank in that world, from your first day of training to the moment the president's life rests entirely on your judgment. Let's begin. You're standing in a concrete courtyard in Glencoe, Georgia, and the sun hasn't come up yet. This is the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center, FLETC, and you are a special agent trainee. You've already survived one of the most competitive application processes in federal law enforcement. Out of roughly 10,000 applicants this cycle, fewer than 300 made it here. You passed the written exam, the panel interview, the polygraph, the deep background investigation that went all the way back to your high school teachers. None of that matters now. What matters is the next 27 weeks. Your days start before dawn, with physical assessments that would humble most college athletes, obstacle courses, defensive tactics, and combat simulation drills that leave your ribs bruised and your hands raw. You qualify on the Sig Sauer P229, the standard issue sidearm you'll carry for your entire career. You study federal law, protective intelligence, and threat assessment methodology. But here's the thing most people don't understand about Secret Service training. It's not primarily about firearms. It's about observation. You're taught to read a crowd of 3,000 people and identify the one face that doesn't belong. You learn to scan a room in under 5 seconds and catalog every exit, every window, every piece of furniture that could serve as cover. By graduation, your brain processes public spaces differently than a civilian's ever will. You've earned your star-shaped badge, but you're nowhere near the president. 14 months later, you're sitting in a parked sedan outside a federal courthouse in Chicago with a case file on your lap. You're a special agent assigned to a field office, and right now, the White House feels like a different universe. Your daily work is financial crimes and protective intelligence, tracking counterfeit currency rings, investigating fraud, and running advanced security for visiting dignitaries. It's not glamorous, but it's building something critical. On a rainy Thursday in March, you're assigned to a protective intelligence case involving a person of interest who made online threats against a senior government official. You spend 3 weeks tracing digital footprints, interviewing associates, and coordinating with the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force. The case ends quietly. A mental health intervention, no prosecution. That quiet ending is the point. The Secret Service doesn't measure success by arrests. It measures success by events that never happen. You're learning the doctrine that will define your entire career: prevention through presence, deterrence through preparation. Every field office rotation, every protective advance you run for a visiting foreign head of state, every hour spent studying how past assassination attempts succeeded or failed, is sharpening a skill set the service will need from you later. After 4 years in the field, your name appears on a short list. The call comes on a Tuesday morning. You've been selected for the Presidential Protective Division, PPD. This is the assignment every agent envisions from day one. You report to the Washington field office and begin a transition unlike anything you've experienced. The pace changes overnight. Suddenly, your schedule belongs to one person, the President of the United States. You work 12-hour shifts standing post at the White House, riding in the motorcade, or walking formation during public appearances. You memorize the president's daily routine, medical history, and the faces of every known threat currently being tracked by the Protective Intelligence Division. During a state visit to New York's K-City, you're part of a 40-agent formation moving through a United Nations corridor. Your sector is the left flank. 1,400 diplomats, staff, and journalists surround the president within a 200-meter radius. You're scanning hands. Always hands. A man in a gray suit reaches into his jacket and you feel your pulse spike. He pulls out a phone. Your breathing resets. Nobody in that hallway noticed your reaction. That's the job. Controlled adrenaline for hours that feel like days. The mental toll is enormous. You miss birthdays, holidays, your daughter's school play. The service asks for everything, and the detail demands even more. But now, everything changes. Most agents protect. You are being trained to attack. You've been selected for the Counter-Assault Team, CAT, the Secret Service's elite tactical unit. This is the most specialized offensive force within the agency, and the selection process is deliberately punishing. For 2 weeks, you endure physical and psychological screening that eliminates more than half the candidates. You run until your legs fail, shoot under conditions designed to simulate pure chaos, and execute close-quarters battle drills in structures rigged with flashbangs and smoke. The agents who survive selection enter a world that looks more like special operations than traditional law enforcement. Your vehicle in the motorcade is a black Suburban loaded with SR-16 rifles, breaching tools, smoke grenades, and ballistic shields. You wear heavy body armor under dark civilian clothing. Your mission is singular. If an organized attack hits the motorcade, you are the ones who move toward the gunfire. Not to evacuate, not to shield, to engage and neutralize the threat so the protective detail can extract the president. During a presidential visit to a major American city, your team is staged 2 vehicles behind the limousine. Intelligence has flagged a credible but unconfirmed threat, a possible vehicle-borne attack along the route. For 47 minutes, your rifle is between your knees and your eyes are locked on every intersection. Nothing happens. You return to base, debrief for an hour, and do it again the next morning. That state of readiness, absolute, sustained, and invisible to the public, is what defines CAT. You don't get credit. You don't get recognized. You get the knowledge that if the worst moment in American history tries to unfold, you're the first one running into it. There's a position on the White House roof that most Americans never notice. If you look closely during a presidential address on the South Lawn, you might spot a figure lying prone near the edge of the roofline. That's you now. You're a member of the Counter-Sniper Team, and your workspace is the top of the most famous building on Earth. Selection required you to demonstrate precision marksmanship at distances most law enforcement officers never train for. You shoot in wind, in rain, in the flat gray light of a Washington winter. Your rifle is a custom-built bolt-action platform with optics calibrated to your specific eye relief and shooting posture. N02 rifles on the team are set up identically. During every public event at the White House, you're in position hours before the first guest arrives. You chart wind patterns, identify potential counter-sniper positions in surrounding buildings, and establish overlapping fields of observation with your partner. Communication is constant but minimal. Short transmissions, coded references, no wasted words. The psychological demand is unique. You may spend an entire 8-hour shift looking through a scope at a world that appears peaceful, knowing that your single purpose is to respond to a moment of extraordinary violence. That contrast, hours of stillness followed by a decision measured in fractions of a second, requires a kind of mental discipline that can't be taught. It can only be selected for. You've become one of the most quietly skilled marksmen in any federal agency, and almost no one will ever know it. Your performance hasn't gone unnoticed. Not even close. You're no longer the one scanning rooftops. You're the one deciding where every agent stands. As shift leader and supervisor on the Presidential Protective Division, you command the detail during your rotation. Every post assignment, every motorcade formation, every emergency contingency plan flows through your authority. Before the president steps outside the White House, you've already reviewed the advanced team's security survey, approved the counter-sniper positions, confirmed the CAT team's staging, and briefed every agent on their sector. During an overseas trip to a Southeast Asian summit, you're managing a protective operation across 3 separate venues in a city your team arrived in 48 hours ago. Local police coordination is fragile. The intelligence picture, incomplete. A protest movement is gathering 6 blocks from the conference center. You're making real-time decisions that balance the president's public schedule against threat information that's changing by the hour. One wrong call doesn't just risk an individual, it risks a geopolitical crisis. The weight of supervision in this role isn't physical. It's the understanding that every agent under your command is trusting your judgment, with their safety, and the safety of the person they've sworn to protect. You carry that home with you. It sits in the silence, after your family goes to sleep. Now comes the final step. And there is no step after this. There is exactly one person in the United States Secret Service who answers directly for the life of the president on a daily operational level. And now, that person is you. As the special agent in charge of the Presidential Protective Division, you are the highest-ranking tactical authority over the most important protective mission on the planet. You don't just manage shifts, you architect the entire security posture around the leader of the free world. Every foreign trip, every domestic movement, every public appearance is filtered through your strategic assessment. You sit in briefings with the Director of National Intelligence. You coordinate with the Pentagon, the CIA, the FBI, and foreign security services. When the president travels abroad, you've already sent advanced teams weeks ahead to walk every route, inspect every venue, and negotiate security protocols with host nations. And when something goes wrong, an intelligence failure, a perimeter breach, an emergent threat, every camera, every congressional inquiry, every headline points at you. There is no passing this responsibility upward. During a G7 summit in a European capital, a security incident at the outer perimeter triggers a lockdown. For 11 minutes, you're managing communications between your detail, the CAT team, counter-snipers, local law enforcement, and the White House Situation Room, simultaneously. The president is moved to a secure hold, the incident is contained. No one outside the security apparatus will ever know how close the margin was. That's the final truth of this rank. Success is invisible. Failure is historic. You started as a trainee doing push-ups in the Georgia humidity, learning to notice what others overlook. You became a field agent chasing counterfeit bills and building the quiet instincts that prevent violence before it starts. You stood beside the president and felt the weight of every crowd, every handshake, every open window. You joined the teams that run toward the threat. You lay on rooftops in silence, watching the world through a scope. You commanded the detail. And finally, you carried the full weight of a single, immovable mission: keep the president alive. The Secret Service doesn't build heroes for the headlines. It builds professionals who disappear into the mission so completely that the public never has to think about them at all. That invisibility isn't a sacrifice. It's the point. If this deep dive into the Secret Service's tactical ranks resonated with you, subscribe for more explorations into elite military and intelligence organizations. Next, we're uncovering every rank inside the FBI's hostage rescue team.